Welcome to Saturday Smoke Break. I'm your host from Millcreek Cigar Lounge, Dave, and today we're taking a global tour of cigar tobacco. We'll visit the Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Ecuador, Mexico, and Cameroon, exploring how soil, climate, and tradition shape what ends up in your humidor. Because when you light a cigar, you're not just lighting fermented leaves. You're lighting sun, rain, altitude, minerals, and decades of agricultural evolution. Different regions don't just grow tobacco, they grow personality. So let's strike the match.
Yeah, the first place we're going to visit is the Dominican Republic, and we kind of call that the art of balance. If cigar tobacco had a finishing school, it would probably be in the DR. The heart of Dominican production is in Cibao Valley, Santiago, Mau, and La Canela. The soil is rich and loamy, rainfall is steady, the climate is warm but forgiving. The result, a very refined tobacco. Key varietals of the tobacco plant are the Piloto Cubano, the Olor Dominicano, the Dominican Corojo, Criollo, San Vicente. The flavor profile that you can get from these tobaccos are hints of cream, cedar, toasted nuts, light spice, and subtle floral sweetness. The Dominican leaf is often used as a filler because it burns beautifully and smooths out a blend. It doesn't usually overpower, it rounds edges, and it brings harmony to the cigar. If Nicaraguan tobacco throws punches, Dominican tobacco extends a handshake. When you smoke something creamy, elegant, and balanced, Dominican leaf is often doing the quiet, heavy lifting.
Now we head to Nicaragua. If the Dominican Republic is balance, Nicaragua is intensity. Much of Nicaragua's tobacco grows in volcanic soil that's rich in minerals. The sun is stronger. The climate is drier. The result is bold, structured tobacco with depth and strength. Let's break it down. Esteli is going to be the powerhouse region. That's where you're going to get flavor notes like black pepper, earth, espresso. That's where you're going to get a lot of strength from the tobacco. Esteli provides body and backbone. Jalapa is at a higher elevation. It's got slightly sweeter soil, so you're going to get more like floral notes, sweet cedar, red pepper, and an aromatic complexity. Jalapa adds elegance to power. Condega is balanced and mineral driven. So you're going to get a nutty type of flavor, medium spice, subtle earth. Ometepe, that's a volcanic island where they grow tobacco down there. You're going to get more like earth notes, a slight tang, and a very unique sweetness to the tobacco grown in Ometepe. Nicaragua produces Corojo, Criollo, and Habano varietals that dominate modern premium cigars. When you smoke something bold, peppery, and full-bodied, Nicaragua is often at the core.
Okay, thanks for that, Dave. So we're going to now jump to Ecuador, and that's where the wrapper is made. They're specialists in the wrappers. They make a great wrapper. And we're going to start off in south of Ecuador. It's actually, Ecuador is known for the wrapper leaf, which is critical to the taste of the cigar. Thanks to natural cloud cover in the Andes, tobacco grows under natural shade instead of cheesecloth. Nature diffuses the sunlight, producing thinner, more elastic, and more visually stunning wrappers. So the major type you're talking about is the Ecuadorian Connecticut. You got cream, hay notes, almonds, light pepper, Ecuadorian habanos, baking spice, sweet cedar, toast, red peppers, the Sumatras, known for that area region, earth tones, cinnamon, and a slight musk. So when the Ecuadorian wrapper, it often frames a blend rather than dominates it. It just adds some flavor to it. They shape first impressions of the cigars. They influence the aroma, and they burn exceptionally well. If you smoke a smooth Connecticut that wasn't blend, Ecuadorians likely deserves the credit for that cigar, that taste.
Thanks, Dan. Now we're going to move on to Mexico, specifically the San Andres Valley in Veracruz. San Andres is synonymous with Maduro wrapper. Volcanic soil, humid climate, thick, oily leaves, perfect for deep fermentation. The San Andres Maduro flavor profile, you're going to get some dark chocolate, some coffee, earth, black pepper, dried fruit, and somewhat of a molasses sweetness to it. It adds richness without always adding overwhelming strength. If you've had a Maduro that tastes like espresso and cocoa instead of pure char, San Andres was probably involved. Mexico may not dominate the headlines, but it quietly defines the modern Maduro category.
Yeah, and finally, we're going to head to the Cameroon. Down in Africa, Cameroon tobacco began with Cuban seed that was brought to Central Africa decades ago. The soil is sandy, the climate is tropical, and the growing process is delicate. Cameroon wrapper is thin and fragile, but extraordinary when done well. The flavor profiles you get from this is usually sweet spice, cedar, nutmeg, toast, and dry wood character. Cameroon doesn't overpower a blend, it seasons it. If you've smoked a cigar where sweetness and spice dance together without heavy strength, Cameroon may have been responsible.
Thanks, Clark. So why does any of this matter? Because understanding regions changes how you shop. If you like creamy and smooth, look for cigars with a Dominican influence to them. Bold and peppery, explore Esteli. Sweet and aromatic, look for something with jalapa in it. Rich Maduro depth, you're going to want to look for something with a San Andres wrapper. Sweet spice and elegance, Cameroon. Clean, refined wrapper character, Ecuador. Blends are conversations between regions. A cigar might use Dominican filler, Nicaraguan binder, and an Ecuadorian wrapper. That's not random. That's architecture. Today, we toured the 5 major tobacco growing regions, and that's just the beginning, because every cigar tells a story, and that story begins in the soil. Thanks for joining us today on Saturday Smoke Break. On behalf of Dan, Clark, and myself, as always, stay smoky, friends.
Surgeon General warning: tobacco smoke increases the risk of lung cancer and heart disease, even in non-smokers.